Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our PM Safari. Beautiful Sunday afternoon. I was wondering if you heard my footsteps coming along in the dry leaves, almost like sounding like walking on cornflakes. My name is Mark. Becky's on camera, and Tara is in final control. And we're about to head out on our PM Safari. The next 3 hours, we're going to be taking you around this portion of the Sabi Sand here at Djuma Game Reserve. And we've started where we left off this morning. We're in a little area that's pretty heavily wooded and mostly bush willow, what we call combretum. And I've been walking around a little bit, crunching on leaves, hoping that Karula's cubs, we left them this morning, hoping that by crunching the leaves, maybe they would sit up and look up and maybe I would get an idea whether they're still around here. There have been a number of vehicles, just looking at tire tracks, there have been a number of vehicles here since we were here this morning, and we were one of the last vehicles to leave, although we did see a couple of Torchwood vehicles as we were leaving. They might have been here. So I'm not sure if Karula has come back and fetched the youngsters. I didn't see any tracks on Vuatela Access Road, and I haven't seen any tracks in the immediate vicinity. I didn't want to walk too far from the vehicle. I didn't want to disturb them too much if they were here. But I was hoping that if they'd stayed in the immediate vicinity, just by walking on a few leaves and making a noise in the grass, they might have lifted their heads and they might have, oh, who knows, maybe growled or hissed, and I might have seen them. But my guess is they are not within about a 50-yard radius or maybe even a 30-yard radius of us. So we're going to drive a little bit down the road towards Sandy Patch, and we're going to come back this way, and or maybe even take Sandy Patch north up to Biffles of Cutline, because there is a herd of elephant that crossed Vuatela Access Road heading north, and it might be an idea to go and have a look and see whether they are still on our part of the world. Just hearing a vehicle coming along now. So let's go for a ride this afternoon. Enjoy the Sunday afternoon with us. Hope you're all having a wonderful weekend. Let's see what we can find for you today. Now we've seen already that at 8 months old they're already moving a little bit further than the immediate place where Karula leaves them. We noticed that the other day at Treehouse Dam, that these cubs are not as sedentary as they have been in their younger years, or rather younger months. They're still in their younger years, but when they've been very much younger, when Karula left them, invariably they would probably stay within a few yards of the place that she left them, but now they're starting to get a little adventurous. At 8 months old they're getting quite competent too. Chasing after things, and it is quite possible that they might have moved a little bit further than I anticipated. As I say, without the tracks of Karula to come and fetch them, they might very well still be in the area that they were left in. Maybe just moved on, maybe a little deeper into the bush. Let's take Sandy Patch north, go up to Biffles of Cutline and the fire break. Be interested to know if there was anything at Gari Dam today, at Djuma Waterhole. Anyone found anything on the camera? Any of the zoomies? But I've heard of impala here. Might have attracted the attention of the youngsters close by. Fairly relaxed herd of impala though. So we're going to play around a little bit here in the western area of our range, northwestern area. We're also going to continue with our birding that we did this morning, and those of you who weren't with us this morning, I decided, since Tara decided to do some birding yesterday, I thought we would do some too. Maybe turn it into a little bit of friendly competition in some ways, but also in anticipation of maybe some drives where we're not going to have many animals around, to be able to catch up on the birds, but also to start updating our bird list, our life list of birds here at Two Game Reserve. Also to see how many birds we can see in the 2 game drives that we're out. It's not just a case of seeing birds, because for Tara and myself driving around, we will see a lot of birds that we might not catch on camera, and I think the main thing is to be able to have them on camera. That is the key. I mean, today, 3 hornbills that flew across the road, couldn't count them. cheetah here today. Gosh, William, there's a difficult question. How many species of trees are there in the area? I don't even think I could answer that yet without consulting some books. How many species of trees we would have here? A lot. But I'm sure, William, you're not going to be content with an answer like that. Somewhere there's got to be a figure. In fact, I'm quite sure that the Sabi Sand has a figure of the number of tree species that are found in the Sabi Sand. But I wouldn't even be able to hazard a guess. A couple of hundred, maybe. I guess it also gets a little bit difficult because the distinction between what is a bush and what is a tree. So, I mean, what we're looking at here essentially looks like a lot of bush rather than trees, because our trees don't grow a lot of the tree species don't grow very tall, and that is because of various reasons. One of them being utilization by animals, elephants in particular. I mean, if we take a species like, where's one? There's got to be one here somewhere. Roundleaf teak. Somewhere there's a roundleaf teak. I know. Should be one here somewhere, but anyways, the roundleaf teak here, there's, I mean, that's large fruited combretum. I'll find it. Here's a roundleaf teak. This, William, this doesn't get much more than a bush because the elephants utilize it heavily, but it is classed as a tree. That's Pterocarpus rotundifolia. Classed as a tree because when you go to areas where there are no elephants, they're 30-40 foot trees, but here they cropped short every year to recopper so that the elephants can chew on the bark, and they don't get much more than a bush. Amongst others, I see someone there's Henry. Don't have contact with him. Afternoon stations, any update? No radio contact. Henry? Yeah, go. Copy, thanks. The traffic light's red. Serious lack of sense of humor. Wonderful. Okay, no sign of those elephants. very nice diversity of trees here, and of course we have very different soil types, very different terrain types. Even though it looks fairly uniform, there are subtle differences that we don't really notice much when we're driving. For instance, we've been on fairly high ground where there's very sandy soil that is home to or favoured by certain species of trees, and when you go down into the dips and the draining, what we call the drainage lines, there are completely different conditions there, different temperatures, different depths of the topsoil, different clay conditions, different water conditions, and so a different composition of trees. And there are also a number of trees that have to have their feet in water, their roots, their feet have to have their roots in water, and those trees you also find in specific areas. It would be interesting to actually know how many different species there are. I guess it's just never occurred to me. These elephants, I'm sure, are still in this block. Between Voyatella Access Road, Aubrey's Road, this is Gallagher Shortcut. This big triangle. I haven't seen any tractor coming out of it. And no sign of Karula and the cubs either, so they might also be deep in this very same block. Thanks, Kev. 62 species of trees. I would have thought there would be more. 62 doesn't sound like that many. I guess we could take a few off of that number, because I know there are a number of trees that I've seen in the central and southern part of the Sabi Sand that I haven't seen here, and I have been looking. Right, we've got those birds. We don't have those birds. If they keep, there they are. Here we go. And while you're looking at birds, I'm just going to put another layer of clothing on so you can't see me right now, conveniently, while the camera's turned away. Oh, there's another one that just landed there too. That's another special one. Hmm? It's cold already. It's not even sunset. Okay, the black and yellow and red one also flew away, but maybe it was there long enough. There's even a third species that's just flown by. Okay, we missed that one. You still got one? No, none. Okay. All right. Well, I wasn't looking because I was putting on a few layers to warm up. The chilly wind that's blowing. Gotta keep warm. Hang on, Tara. Hang on. It's not back in the seat yet. Right, let's go. Right. Thank you, Laura in Finland. Green wood hoopoe. Who's got a total for me for this morning's drive? Okay, so 15 for the morning drive. Well, I think what this is going to turn into, it's not like we've had the Ranger race before, because that's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is multitudinous. No? Is that a word? Or is that a Tara dictionary word? The purpose of this is multifarious. That's another word. Multifarious. Multifarious. And that is to actually see how many birds we can stop and catch on camera in 2 game drives. So it's not like it's just going to be today. I think we'll try this on several days. And as we go into spring and we start getting some of the migrants coming back, that number's going to increase. And it's not like we're going to concentrate only on birds, but there are going to be times, especially now, we've got this sort of chilly wind blowing. I'm not seeing much else move around other than every now and then we pass through a mixed bird party, and then we're going to be able to stop and see a few birds. But it would be really interesting to see how many birds we can actually stop, get on camera and identify in the 2 drives of the day. And so it becomes a competition for ourselves, not against each other, but for us as an entity, to constantly try and better how many birds that we can come across. But yes, that was the green wood hoopoe, also known as the red-billed wood hoopoe, or it used to be known as the red-billed wood hoopoe. They have a wonderful cackling call. They live in groups. Grüne Wiederhopf. No. Well, a Wiederhopf is a hoopoe, and that is Wiederhopf family. For those of you who are from Germanic languages. Wiederhopf. Hello, Vivian. Yeah. See, it's not only me that digresses and gets distracted, it's also the viewers. Vivian wants to know about fireflies. And do we get fireflies? Because Vivian's garden is all twinkling tonight. Vivian, yes we do. We have a particular species of firefly. Very different to some of the fireflies that we find in the world. I believe in Taiwan, up in the far east, you get different colors and you get them sort of all flashing in unison type of thing. Here we get two different insects that are essentially the same insect, just different sexes. And one is called a firefly and the other one is called a glowworm. And the one flashes and the other one is just a fixed light. And it's the male of the firefly that flashes. I'm just seeing tracks that turn off. Although I think it's somebody that turned around. We're going to take a ride down Zoe's Road, I think. It's the male that flashes and it's the female firefly that has a very fixed light. And it's the female that is called a glowworm because she just glows. That was Karula's tracks heading down towards the lodge, but those might be the tracks that were seen this morning. Yeah, it must have been. Now, neither the male firefly nor the glowworm are what their name suggests, because the firefly is not a fly and the glowworm is not a worm. Both of them are a beetle in the same species, and it's the female that never really reaches adult stage. She always stays at more or less a nymph or a larval stage. She doesn't become an adult beetle the same shape as the male firefly with wings. She doesn't ever get wings. Jackson, come in. Which way did you go?
I just come on Elephant Bar Road.
Okay, copied. There was an Inguim Konzo for young Madoda, probably maybe one of Karula's old Mampimpan, that crossed over south just west of Baboon Pan. I don't know if you want to maybe check he doesn't cross back again. Sorry, Mike and Kev were saying. Thanks, Mike Moss and Kev also came through with Green Wudupu. I don't know if the other bird was there long enough to get it on cam. Did you get the other one? About a second of the other one. Okay, didn't get that long enough. Okay. Okay, let's get back to William's question from earlier, asking about the number of trees. Getting back to tree species, number of trees. King Alan Hewitt, thank you. Coming back with 330 plus species of trees. But then there was also another email about the number of trees in Kruger being 336, and that came from Val in Scotland. Val, I haven't heard from you for a while. How are you doing? Val in Scotland. But now I see Val has found 336 species in Kruger. And although we are in Kruger, we're a very, very small percentage of the overall area of Kruger. And the Kruger being so vast and having such varied topography, varied climate, varied geology, not all the species of trees in Kruger will occur here. So I don't think trees in okay, we're back again. Are we gone again? Are we back or are we gone? Yes, we're gone because I didn't answer. We're back, but we're choppy. So I'm going to just stand still and see if the picture holds while we're standing still. Because then if it's getting choppy while we're driving, then there might be good enough. I don't know. I'm at a loss. We're on Zoe's road, the highest road there is. The least likelihood of losing signal on this road. There's something else going wrong. The wind. So I was saying, you can't sort of make a statement that 330 plus species of trees in Kruger, ergo 330 plus species of trees in Sabi Sand, or even here in Djuma, because even the number of trees in the Sabi Sand doesn't mean that the same number occur here in the 2,500 acres that we have of the Sabi of Djuma. I have many tree species at home, only if, what's it, maybe 40-50 kilometers north of here, that don't occur this far south. And even further north there are a number of tree species that don't occur where I am, that occur in the northern region. So still trying to find an accurate number of trees. Only the Sabi Sand, and we're gone again. And we're back again. Don't know what's going on today. Okay, you gotta give that to me again, I'm sorry. Deborah. Hello to you. Deborah's having a look at the map. And in the beige area on the map are we in the area called quarantine? No. And what does quarantine mean? And Boyatela, what was the lodge that we were at? I'm guessing, Deborah, you're on a map that I can only sort of bring up in my head, as bad as my memory is. Maybe Tara could call it up and tell me what the beige area is. It only the open area of quarantine that's beige? Because that might just denote that it's an open plains area. But no, we are not on that. That is next to the lodge. The lodge is Boyatela Game Lodge. That is the only lodge on this portion of Djuma. Djuma does have another lodge. Can't talk like this. I can't do this. On and off, on and off. Why are we going on and off all the time? I mean, there's nothing. How are we looking? Picture, yes, no. I can't figure out why we keep getting lost, and it is a little disturbing, only because I'm trying to talk to you and you're going to get a fraction of what I'm saying, and quarantine is an open area, Deborah, that it probably hasn't been used for close on 20 years now. I don't know. I have no idea when it was used as a quarantine area, or in terms of how long ago. I guess I could find that out. I could ask the owners. It is a name that confuses a lot of people. I would love them to change. The viewer that joins us wants to know about quarantine. As you know, current times. It's something that happened 20 odd years ago or more. Maybe, I don't know, I'm guessing 20 odd years ago. They've marked beige areas on the map as open areas. We are coming up on an area known as Impala Plains. There you go. Impala Plains, which is towards the west of our whole traversing area. And we're going to take Impala Road back to Sandy Patch and do it back again. And yes, the game lodge is Boyatella Game Lodge that I showed you this morning. And you can read up about Boyatella at the Juma website. I'm not too sure if it's juma.com or juma.coza. I think it's juma.com. Debbie wants to know if it's solar flares that could be messing with our transmission. Could very well be. There have been some pretty severe solar flares. Unfortunately, we lost you around Impala Plains. We had a few birds up there. Otherwise, there hasn't been much else. And I'm hoping that everything's going to be running smoothly now. We haven't been able to isolate what the problem is. But It seems that coming closer to camp, it seems to be fine. So let's go on to the open area of quarantine. I have to limit my talking, my throat's not good. The more I talk, the more I want to cough, and the more, well, I'm sure you won't mind. I put an extra 4 layers on and I'm still cold. There's a really cold wind blowing at such a late, or rather such a, even with the sun still up. Gets this cold much later after sunset. Bird we haven't seen yet. A number of birds. There are also some dwarf mongoose in the grasses here. Chasing a button quail. There's some interesting bird behavior going on. Well, there are a number of seed eaters in the grasses. Up there, red-billed hornbills. A bunch of seed eaters as well. There, with the orange beak. Now we're gonna get it. Hopefully we can, because it's a really lovely bird. So thanks Robin and Raisa with the fork-tailed drongo. The fork-tailed drongo was chasing something here that I thought might have been a button quail, but it wasn't. I think this is who the fork-tailed drongo was chasing. Orange beak, it's got orange sort of buff color underneath. It's going to be a difficult one for you, but that's because birds aren't always out in the open. You've got to be able to identify them on the ground too, running along the grasses. There we go. That's not a seed eater, by the way. That is an insect eater. And there's actually a mixed bird party going on here. There are a number of different species, and it's a matter of being able to find them in the grasses. Just off of my right shoulder there's another yellow and black and white and red bird hopping through the grass. tugging at something. This is mostly a fruit and fruit and nut eater. They are known to eat insects. Judging by things, looks like it's found something. And at the moment it's almost impossible to identify. Look up. No, Laura, not a green-winged patella. Much bigger than a green-winged patella. Much bigger, longer. Here we go, Robin. Robin saying Curry Shane thrush. Robin wins the prize for that one. There we go. This one lifting its head with a little crest on top. There we go, that should make it quite easy to ID now. Curry Shane thrush with the orange beak, the orange legs, the orange underneath. Drongo. Thank you, Mike Moss. Robin, first back with the crested barbet. Now, I know a lot of people are sending in answers, and that's part of the fun of it, is to see whether your email can get through first. Because sometimes a lot of you answering, it's impossible to get to all of them. So maybe what we should do is, Mike, I think since I've acknowledged that Mike Moss has come through with some answers, maybe we'll ask Tara to send some other names through next time, even if they're not the first. Maybe that's what Tara has been doing, rather than, hey squirrel, make up your mind. Left, right, left, right. Place we don't know of and have never seen. I'm going to make my way to the east. I need the calming presence Franklin calling. calming presence of it. Pachyderm. Specific kind of pachyderm. I think you're back with us. I think that everything might be good now. I think we've isolated a problem and rectified it. I think it's a little bit late for us to go and find a herd of elephants that were up on Cheetah Cutline, Mumba Road direction. I think our best bet is to head towards where the cubs were. I think we've got a good chance of seeing the cubs. I think Karula might not be back yet, and I think she might still come back and fetch them tonight. Oh my word, I think I nearly missed a kudu bull. Magnificent kudu bull, who I think we've seen before. So I was saying, I think we've isolated the problem, but I seem to have been a bit premature in that decision. I think we should be okay. I'm hoping we are. We had two wonderful kudu bulls there, but they moved into the deeper bush. So I think, carrying on on the theme of my thinking, I think we'll head to Aubrey's Road. We started the drive at Aubrey's Road where we left the cubs this morning, and I did walk up and down a little bit. I wanted to try and attract their attention. And I didn't see any tracks crossing onto the other side of the road, but evidently one of the cubs is there, and what I would like to do is to just go and sit there as it gets dark and watch the cubs. And actually no, we can't stay there too long if Karula's not around, but for a little while at least, let's just go and spend some time there if we can find one of them before it gets dark, and just sit for a while until it's too dark to see, because I don't think it's a good idea to be shining lights on them if Karula's not around, just in case there are the likes of hyena or someone else that might pose a threat. Hello Dolly now. It's the coldest temperature recorded for winter. Well, I don't know, really. Maybe around 2 degrees Celsius. The high 30s perhaps. You know what, I looked at that termite now, and there's a cub. Look at that beautiful silhouette. From here we'll see that. Look at that beautiful silhouette on top of the termite mound. We're going to not even go closer for now. Waiting for Mom to come back. Probably why we didn't see it earlier. It was hiding on the other side of the termite mound maybe. And now that it's getting darker, wants a bit of a vantage point. Desperately waiting for Mom to come back. Mom's been away for a little while. starting to maybe get a bit nervous. Leaves are making a lot of noise in this wind. It's starting to get chilly. Children are hungry. They want their mommy. Those markings on the forehead, just like Mishu was at this age. Those beige lightning stripes. Hello, Linda. Nice to hear from you. Question from Linda. Not so much about leopards as much pythons. Now that winter's come along, have we seen any pythons curled up in trees? And are the big snakes hibernating? Well, no, Linda, haven't seen any pythons curled up. And there was just that one python at one time in one hole we were lucky enough to see. I'm sure there are pythons curled up in some holes in trees. But no, they're not really hibernating. We're seeing snake tracks on the roads from some of the big snakes. When the temperatures warm up around mid-morning, they do move around. They lie in the sun, they warm up a lot. And they would hunt if they get the opportunity. Hello, Vivian. Are there trees close enough are there any trees close enough for the cub to escape to if need be? Yeah, I think so. There's a crombeck shouting at it. I think it's a crombeck. Hello, Carl. What's the longest and heaviest crocodile I know of in South Africa? I'd have to Google it, Carl. I couldn't even think of it. I'm not a weights and measures kind of person, I have to be honest with you. So these things don't really stick in my head. And I honestly couldn't answer that because I can't even think of. I mean, I've seen pretty big crocodiles in South Africa, but in terms of how long they were and how heavy they were, I haven't the faintest idea. But in terms of what's on record, that would be something interesting, and that would be somewhere that one would pick up off of Google or something. I mean, it's probably talking about something between 5.5 meters, probably around 5.5, maybe 6 meters. Weight wise, sure, I don't know. Couldn't even guess. Close to 800 kilos, maybe. I don't know. I might be way off. Couldn't even hazard a guess. Sometimes those tails of a leopard, especially a cub, have got a mind of their own. Hello, Debbie. Debbie wants to know if Mum doesn't come home, would they be alright tonight? Debbie, I'm quite sure, quite positive, that this would not be the first night that they're on their own. I think there have been times before now that they've been on their own. And yes, I think they'll be fine. They've made it 8 months already on their own for periods of time, chasing its tail by the looks of things. Yeah, I think it's chasing its own tail, this silly child. Just discovered the white tip of its own tail. We can only watch it in silhouette. I really don't want to put the light on these children. Not until Mom's around. Not until they're moving and they're doing something else. But with the cubs on their own, by putting a light on the cub, if there is anything around, the cub won't be able to see anything other than the source of the light, which is just a big bright white beam spot. And yet, if there's a hyena or something, the hyena won't see anything other than a cub bathed in light. So it's not maybe a good idea to put a light on it, as dark as it's getting. Which is why it's wonderful to watch it in silhouette. What we can do is let's go in a little bit and try and get it while there is still a little bit of light. Some strange cloud forming tonight. It got very cold very early this evening, and there's a lot of cloud that has developed. And the lovely new moon. It was lovely to see that last night, Tara on drive, seeing that first sliver of the new moon. Always a great time for me, the new moon, because you can count the days to the full moon. Now, I know this might be a little frustrating for some of you, but I think if we just sit for a little while and see if maybe Karula doesn't come back. And if we can live with the silhouette, which is quite pretty, I have to admit, I think that is pretty. You don't have to see it bathed in light. I don't know where other child is. I can't tell who this child is, which one it is. Looking back to some sound, maybe its sibling coming to join it. Come sit on my lap and wait for your mother. Come and curl up here next to me on the seat. I wish. Ah, it's listening to it. Can hear something or see something behind us. Something has attracted its attention behind us. Might have heard something, maybe it's sibling. But the ears didn't go flat, that with maybe an indication that it's something to be afraid of or something to be worried about. When the ears go back and go flat, then maybe there's something it doesn't want to be seen by. And the silhouette will blend in with the termite mound. Listening to something behind.
And he's saying it's pouring with rain, bitterly cold in Durban.
Thank you, Penny. Pouring with rain and bitterly cold in Durban. Well, that might account for the cloud that we're having. There's something moving around behind us that this little one can hear. Annette, it's a little bit too dark to see the other cub, and I haven't driven around much, so I don't want to ride around. And it's also, even if I did drive around, it would be impossible to see it. It's a bit too dark. I have no doubt that the other cub is here, just not with this one, and so we're not using any light. I'm just using the light to look around a little bit. But as soon as I see it and know that it's here, I'll let you know. I'll see if I can bounce some light up onto it from the bottom here. There, just a little bit. I'm shining the light on the base of the termite mound, which is a good 10 or 12 feet away. Going back and down the other side. I see the tail moving about up there. Maybe we can go around that side of it. Hello, Raisa. Asking if it's true that somebody has named them black and white in Shanghai. It was a suggestion, Raisa, from the tracker of, I think, the guide whose turn it is. The guide who is supposedly going to be naming them Matt, who's actually left now. So maybe he's not going to name them because he left on Friday. An Elephant Plains guide. I think it was Elephant Plains. I can't remember where he was from. So this little one is sitting, it's almost next to us now. And what I'll do is I'll just bounce some light. I'm going to shine on it. I'm just going to shine down on the ground next to me and let some of the light bounce up to it. Oh, what was that? Test pattern. Okay, I'm going to look around. Linda in very hot Dallas took a picture of it looking like a Sabi Sphinx. Well, you know, one thing that we ought to do right now is take a ride down a place like Impala Road, Impala Plains. Look at that. Beautiful new moon. Come back along Zoe's Road and do a loop. Okay, little one's coming down next to the vehicle now. I'm not going to put the light on it. She's going towards Vuyutela Road, Access Road. In front of the car. Come here, child. Okay, I can't move right now. This cub is right in front of the car. Even if I put the light on, we wouldn't be able to see it. It's like right in front of the bumper. Yeah, she's going towards Vuyutela Access Road. So what we're going to do is take a little ride around and see if we can see Karula making her way back here. If Karula's not here, the cubs are not going to go far. I saw a picture posted yesterday. No, or maybe it was the day before. It was the day when we were with elephants at the dam. Or maybe it was yesterday. Tara, did you have elephants yesterday afternoon when it was getting dark? Yeah. And then somebody posted a photograph of what it looked like from Gari Dam cam. And this big question mark, why is it so different? Entirely different cameras, entirely different capabilities, entirely different irises. The camera at Gari Dam has infrared capabilities, this one doesn't. And a Gari Dam cam is not the kind of cam we could use on a vehicle and vice versa. So it just goes to show that yes, we do lose a little bit when it starts getting dark. In terms of our game drive vehicle. idea where Karula even went to from here. To even start looking, but she could be anywhere. So we'll take a little ride. And who knows? Maybe she'll be on her way back here. But I think it's prudent that we leave. It's getting too dark now, and I don't think it's wise to be sitting there with the cubs. Well, firstly, in the dark, we're not going to see anything because I'm not going to put the light on them. So that doesn't help us much sitting in the dark. And then, of course, there's the other thing. We just don't want to draw attention to them. So let's take the ride. Our birding exercise got a bit waylaid, so we'll give Tara the victory for the most birds yesterday. Setting a record of 20, I think something like 23 or 24. I don't know, Tara? You saw a black-shouldered kite yesterday. Ah, nobody ID'd it. Oh, very unusual visitor here. Although it's a very common raptor throughout the country, in fact throughout Africa, and probably even beyond. Black-shouldered kite. Nobody got it. It's like today, nobody got the purple roller, the Mozambique roller. Same bird, different name. Here's leopard food, cat food in the road. Why she has to go miles away to go looking for food for the little ones when she can just be here like 100 meters away. Hello children, sorry to disturb. We won't disturb you for too long. We're just going to come through, breezing through the herd of impala. Good night children, mind the leopard. There. Which, well, I don't know if we'll do it every day, but one of these days we'll make an attempt to beat the record of 24. And that's what it will be, it'll be a constant quest to see how many birds we can get to in a drive. I would like to remind you that there is a fireside chat this evening. Tara has lined up a guest on the show from Vuyatela. I won't say much more than that, don't want to spoil things. But just to let you know, we finish the drive about 6:30 Central African time, 6:30 p.m. and it's probably in about, I don't know, maybe an hour or now so from now, and give us half an hour to get back to camp and set things up and get ready, and fireside chat will be at 7 p.m. Sunday night fireside chat. I think the only thing that's, well, not the only thing, but one thing that I'm looking forward to is the warmth of that fire. Right now, it got really chilly really early. Already at 4 o'clock I had to put layers on. That might just be my metabolism, I don't know. Ooh. With my layers on right now, it's cold. headed down towards the lodge. That was a long time ago. She does big loops, which means that she wouldn't maybe come from the direction of the lodge. She could come from any direction. So I think as good a chance as any, whatever direction we take. William wants to know if a honey badger would attack a leopard cub. That's a good question, William. I don't think so. To be honest, I can't imagine why it would do so. I don't think honey badgers it's in their nature to just attack for no reason. They're very defensive animals. But I can't imagine why it might merely just attack for no reason. I think it would probably just turn around and go the other way. I think if the leopard cub got a little bit curious and wanted to do something, then maybe the situation might be different. Feed the clutch again. Yeah, he had the elephant tracks that I wanted to come look for also earlier. I heard elephants. In fact, this morning I heard elephants out this way. But they might have been the tracks that eventually headed north again. Who knows? Okay, we'll take a look at, we're here at Impala Plains. That's where we lost you earlier. Going a little bit haywire. Just take a look at Triple M. Look up and down the big main road because it's big and it's open and it's straight. Gives us a view up and down the road to be able to see if there's anything coming or going. Looking east, west rather, north, east, west, nothing south, east, west, north, and I guess that's my cue to put some fluid in, because I don't have a clutch. Got to feed the clutch. Can't even show you the moon right now because I can't move the vehicle. So I shall only be a minute or so. not good at all. Drop the cap. And I can't.
Do you need a hand?
Well, I need something to stand on, so I can't see in there to find it. Wish I had something to stand on though, because it doesn't help me much. I just have to feel. Aha, I got it. But now I'm full of clutch fluid and grease. It's going to eat through the jacket. Just gonna rinse my hands off quickly. Okay, let's see what we can find now. Get the clutch working again. Thank you, Raisa. Last time black-shouldered kite was seen was about a year ago. Was it 8th of the 3rd or the 3rd of the 8th? Okay. No, I'm not getting you. You're breaking up a bit, but there's a lot of confusion with dates and things, because I think most of the world puts the day and then the month and then the year, but there's one little portion of the world that puts the month first, and that's confusing. Thanks, Raisa. Either the 8th of March or the 3rd of August last year. The wind's actually stopped, so it's actually not as cold as it was a little bit earlier. It's quite pleasant now because that wind has stopped blowing. Make for a very nice fireside chat. Carefully at some tracks here, maybe we'll see something. If Karula's been out and about, or anything else for that matter. Hyenas have. How we've missed them, I don't know. Very fresh hyena tracks. Nothing else. Thank you, Racer. 8th of March was the last time we had a black-shouldered kite on camera. It's quite unusual for such a common bird, I have to be honest. But then, you know, I haven't seen, I probably don't think I'm, let alone getting it on camera, but I don't think I've seen one for about that long. Other than on the road out to Hoedspruit or up in the Timbavati where I've seen one or two, but here, I guess one thing is that here there's a lot more competition with raptors. And black-shouldered kites are predominantly rodent killers. Open grasslands is more suitable to their method of hunting as opposed to this thicker bush area. So it's got a lot to do with habitat. Habitat that determines prey preference, that determines hunting ability or hunting method. I think what we should do is a big figure 8 around where the cubs are. So we're going to go back past them to Sandy Patch North up to the cut line and then around back down Aubrey's Road. I think that would be a good idea because it also covers some ground that various other nocturnal animals cover. Bird. Well, no, I don't know if I just made it go for a moth and it missed it. I don't know if we're going to get species specific. It'll be difficult to get species specific on this one. Although I can tell you it's not a European. Well,
I did, but I'm far away, so I will find it in the morning. Thank you.
the beige cap might be a giveaway.
Sharing what? Dog screaming of Kinzele, just running around. Whereabouts? On Kaimanzi Dam, just at that small dam, that we are making quarries area.
Huh.
It's still there.
Okay, I'm going to put the light off of it. I don't want to keep the light on it too long and it disturb its hunting. Interesting, Texan is up on Biffleshoek, I think Biffleshoek, or Torchwood, one of the two. A place called Kaimanzi Dam. There's some elephant running around and screaming because there's a honey badger disturbing them. Okay, I'm just gonna wait until we pass this night shark. Hello, child. Gosh, you're just sitting here next to me. It's okay, you stay there and I'll just come past. Did you take the camera off? It hasn't moved, which is good. But maybe we can get the camera on it from above and have a really good look at its plumage. Yes. Thanks, Carl. Nightjar, question mark. Lee. Hi, Lee. Haven't heard from you for a while, too. Fiery neck, nightjar. What is it? I think Becky's just trying to get comfortable. It's not easy leaning over the side of the vehicle. It's just not easy getting comfortable. But the most beautiful markings on these birds, and you know, I've had occasion to have one in hand, and I think they've got the softest feathers of any bird I've ever felt. Let's get a close up of the tail. Could very well be a fiery neck nightjar, most likely a fiery neck nightjar. Got to remember that this is a handheld camera right now. It's not on the mount, and zooming in makes it move around a little bit, just to let you know these things. We can't see. Well, we can see the back of its neck, and that might give it away as a fiery neck. Can't see its throat. I'd go along with a fiery necked nightjar. The nightjars are not very easy to distinguish. Okay. As soon as I put the light off of it and switched the car on, it flew away. Nothing wrong with the bird. It is their nature to sit like that. Sadly, that is what has caused a decline in their numbers, because they do sit in the open roads and not only in the reserves but also in places where there is traffic. Most cars don't stop or slow down. Hello, Ed. What animals are nocturnal? Well, there is a host of nocturnal animals. We have genet and civet, white-tailed mongoose, porcupine, honey badger. I mean, these are predominantly nocturnal animals, are not likely to see during the day. Karula, striped polecat, water mongoose, serval to some extent, caracal to some extent. Centipedes, bark spiders, shrews. Well, shrews are pretty much 24 hours a day. They've got such a fast metabolism, they've got to feed all the time. But they are very active at night. Bush babies, nocturnal bush babies, both lesser galago, greater or thick-tailed galago. I'll think of others as we go along. Thank you, Linda in hot Dallas. Interesting. I guess I better see that. I made a very big, I suppose in a way it was a big mistake, and it's something I'm just going to have to live with, and that is that my personal profile on Facebook was the same profile I use for everybody. So as a consequence, well, my family don't interact with me on Facebook anymore. But anyways, I've managed to find a bunch of friends from my past, people I haven't seen for 30 odd years or more, and evidently a school friend from way back when has posted a photograph of me from our class. That must have been primary school. I mean, that must have been pre-1976. I can only imagine what it looks like. That must have been like pre-teen. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to head up, changing the subject, he says. Head up Kuatela Access Road. Thanks, Tara. I'm keen to look at that. Around about the time when I had my bar mitzvah. Just before I had to start wearing glasses, or just after I started wearing glasses. Here's a nocturnal animal. He says, changing the subject, as he always does. Looks like a genet in there. No, it's a bush baby. At the back center of the light. See, unfortunately only I can see the eyes. Oh, it's a genet. It is a genet. I thought it was a genet. And then I thought, no, it's a bush baby because I only saw its head and the big ears. But that was a genet, folks. Possibly a, I couldn't even tell you whether it was lesser spotted or greater genet. G-E-N-E-T. Genet. Can you imagine if there was somebody by the name of Janet that first discovered the genet, then you would have had Janet's genets. But sadly there wasn't a Janet that discovered the genet. So they came up with something far more imaginative. The greater spotted genet. Or the lesser spotted genet. That was one of them. Possibly a lesser. Or was it the large spotted genet and the small spotted genet? Either way. Is it one that's deceiving? Because is it the spots that are bigger? Or is it the genet that is bigger? So it is a large spotted genet. Does it mean it's got larger spots than the small spotted genet? Or does it mean that it's a lot? I'm being silly, never mind. I've dawdled and delayed things, so we're not going to get to do a big figure eight. But what I do want to show you, if we can, see, I've only got a few minutes to go. Alright, we'll look, in my next night drive we'll look at another nocturnal animal that I know I'll definitely be able to find you. They're always around. It's a nocturnal 8-legged animal. We're just going to go past, just to see before we close off, we're just going to go past and see if Karula's come back for her children. Otherwise, Tara's first task in the morning will be, if she wants to, who knows, maybe Tara wants to go and look for the Gowrie gang, but I'll leave it up to Tara to decide whether she's going to come and look for the cubs. But for now, I'm not seeing any tracks. There are tracks of a genet, funny enough, going this way. Tracks of humans from quite a while ago, and they're not my tracks because I wasn't walking here. Quick look down Aubrey's Road, but it doesn't look like anything's happened from this side of things. Karula might have come from the other side. Interestingly, that it's only our tracks here. There are no tracks of any vehicles on top of ours, so nobody's been here since. No sign of eyes or anything on top of the termite mound where it was. I don't know which cub that was, but no sign up there, but that might be because it's hiding. And no sign of tracks here. So there's a good chance that Karula's still coming back tonight. There's certainly enough tyre tracks laid down all around here that any tracks will be very, very visible in the morning and clearly fresher than anything else. So I think at this point we're going to close off, say good night for now, and we'll be back with you in about half an hour's time. Please don't forget to join Tara around the fire. I'll be in FC, final control. I'll be in FC and Tara will be around the fire with an interesting guest. What a lovely moon. There we go, you can see me. Apart from a little bit of a pause, a little bit of a break in between our drive, and hopefully we've got that problem sorted out and that won't be an issue tomorrow morning on the drive. I hope you've had a wonderful afternoon with us. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend and a lovely Sunday, and we're going to round the Sunday off, as I say, a few minutes time with Fireside Chat. And if we don't see you then, we'll see you through the week. If we don't see you through the week, we'll see you through the window, this window. And I'm plagiarizing now, if any of you remember a radio program called Taxi, from the days that I was talking about, the 1970s. But yes, just like my mind, I wander off and do things. My name is Mark. Becky's been on camera. Tara's been in final control. And from all of us here, Wild Earth Safari, have a lovely evening, have a lovely afternoon, and we'll see you a bit later. Bye-bye.